needles.
You only have
only 2. I've been trying to find. I know I have more, but I can't find them anywhere.
In fairness, I feel like needles and stitch markers are things that I have a ton of and I can never find when I need them.
I bought stitch markers in bulk, and now I can only find like 10 of them.
I went to Joann's because they have like the Simplicity vintage stuff, and I put all of them in this little tin, which is magnetized.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
it was a wise move.
I had this super cute like Relakuma pouch, and I put all my sewing kits there because I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it in my backpack, and I have not seen it in 2 years. All of my needles are in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I like, huh?
Oh, I keep all my knitting stuff in this makeup bag that my aunt got me from the Strand because I don't have makeup. This used to be my nice bag for D&D, but then I got a nice bag.
You got it? Okay.
I did it!
Yay!
It's threaded!
So we are live. Hello world.
Hello.
Welcome to our February Stitch and Bitch. Happy Valentine's Day for those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day.
No, it's discounted chocolate day, so
it's the anniversary of the Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day Massacre, the one where they killed Cook.
Chicago gangland. It was a gang. It was like during Prohibition. I only remember it because my AP US history teacher was like very into on this day in history. That was the one he always chose for Valentine's Day.
It is the big one here for Valentine's Day. Yeah. Should we go around and introduce ourselves? I guess I'll start. My name is Bree. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to the Stitch and Bitch. Clearly, you know my channel is Bree Reads Books because you're here. I read a lot of sci-fi. I do a lot of knitting. It's all cool. We have fun.
Yes.
Who's next?
Me?
Okay.
I'm Rachel. My channel is Colonati. I'm still on hiatus, but that will be coming to an end sometime before March. Then I will get back to my usual routine of talking about all the science fiction and fantasy and stuff like that. And there will probably be a regular knitting segment as well.
Yes! The thing everyone has been wanting since forever.
Oh my gosh.
I've been kind of resisting like talking about this stuff more on my channel because like, my channel is about books. But there's a huge crossover between the bookish community and the knitting community and the crochet community, like all that. I did not know about this until I started talking about it. And then everybody came out of the woodwork like, yeah, we want to hear about all the sweaters.
Yes. Want to hear about your yarn dyeing adventures, Rachel.
Oh my God,
yes. That too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, desperately.
I do have, I put in an order to a verb for keeping warm, which is all about natural dyed, like botanical dyes and stuff. And they sell dye extracts. So I got madder and I got cochineal. Is that how you pronounce that?
I think so. Cochineal?
I have no idea. Anyway, so those will probably be my next adventures. Oh, and I have birch bark.
Ooh.
The saga of the freaking birch bark.
Was it the birch bark that made you get those tiny spiders in your
Not
house?
one. Why? Because I can't learn my lesson.
So I've decided, you don't know this, but I've decided we should trade. You send me some hand-dyed yarn and I will send you some of the maple syrup from my trees.
Ah, yes.
You're making me all envious because I can't send anything to anyone because not only customs but also just Finland.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Okay, who's next to introduce themselves, Rhea or Di?
I can go. My name is Diana. My channel is Bookish Di. I talk about sci-fi, fantasy, Star Wars, and I should have a video going up this week. I just have to finish editing it.
Awesome.
Yay. Will we get any kitty appearances?
We'll see. They're currently in my grandparents' room because that has all the sun right now. So once my family gets home from Mass, we'll see if they decide to come over to my room. But so far, they're enjoying having the big bed to themselves.
Wow. That is some good enjoyment right there.
Oh, yeah.
Leia has been in bad kitty mode recently. She discovered the garage, and I don't want her in there because there are cars in there. But so she's just been like stalking the garage door and trying to slip in. And she also, I don't know how she did it, figured out how to jump up onto the fireplace mantle.
What?
Yeah, so she has been she's been really feeling her terrible twos.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a handful.
I mean, MOSFET can relate. He kept both me and partner up on Friday night until around 4 a.m. I had to get out of bed around like 2 or 3 times to point the laser pointer so he could run around. And I'm just waiting for our neighbors to come calling, like, why the fuck are you playing with your cat 4 a.m. in the morning? And I'm like, I'm sorry.
You know what you need? I got my cats this little duder, and it's an automatic laser pointer. So it uses this mirror in the back, and it changes the
I need to get that.
It goes for 15 minutes and then auto turns off so it doesn't like overstimulate them. It's fantastic.
I need to get that because Leia is really ambivalent about all toys except the laser pointer.
Yeah, same. Ours are too. Except that knowing my partner, he will take a look at that and say, nonsense, we can make that ourselves using the power of an Arduino switchboard and etc. So
that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, it'll keep Volt busy.
No, it will keep me busy because it will turn into my project because I need stuff on my portfolio, which has been our latest like quarrel, which is also true. Anyway, I might as well also introduce myself. Hi, I'm Rhea from the channel The Bookfinch, and that's it.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't have anything else.
It's okay. We love you just the way you are.
I feel like this month is just gonna be chaos.
I'm feeling it. So for those of you who don't know what's going on in the Midwest right now, there's a terrible, terrible polar vortex. And if I go outside, it is minus 14 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I should have done the Celsius conversion earlier.
Fahrenheit can go to minus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Fahrenheit to Celsius. I'm looking it up.
You can switch the Fahrenheit and Celsius on your weather app.
I know. It's minus 25 Celsius.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it is cold as hell.
That right there.
I'm a teeny tiny bit warmer. I'm like -1 Fahrenheit. I think I said that was like -15 Celsius or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right there is why I do not ever want to move to the Midwest. I love you, but I am not built for that.
We all want to be where you are right now.
Oh, we're so jealous.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like, oh, we are having like minus 7, minus 10 Celsius right now, and I'm freezing, and fuck, minus 25. Ew, yuck, never.
Yeah.
And that's without wind chill.
Yeah, that's without wind chill. So the wind makes it much colder. I have not gone outside except for to open the door for the chickens and to put water out for them because it's so cold. Our heated waterer for the chickens froze over and it is on. The lights on it are on, but it is so cold that it's still frozen anyway. Mm-hmm. So I have to put out water for them every day. And that is the only time I have left the house in the entire week that has been like this.
Oh,
yeah. I would take some 45C.
Oh my God. What is that in Fahrenheit? That's like in the hundreds, right?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, 45 Fahrenheit is like 120.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, 113 it says.
Yeah. Oh. I do not recommend, having pretty much lived through that growing up, I do not recommend it.
Yeah. No, that's not.
Wait, is that 45 Celsius plus?
Yeah.
Reminds me of the one time when we went to Australia as a family back when I was like 12, and my uncle demonstrated how to fry an egg on the windshield of a car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, if you don't want to deal with that type of weather, I do not recommend moving to the Central Valley of California because you will get that every single summer.
Yeah, I'd rather not, please.
I was in Death Valley in June once, and it was 95 degrees in the shade, and that was hot enough. But as hot as it usually gets. That's enough for me.
Yeah, you have not sold me on the wonders of California.
Well, here's the thing. California is great if you have air conditioning. So even though it gets really warm in Central California, you most places have AC, and it's also a dry heat, so it's cooler in the shade. Mm-hmm. So it's different than DC, which is
sticky and gross.
Yeah, you're screwed anyway. But what sucks is that when heat waves hit the Bay Area, because normally the Bay Area is pretty temperate, or where my grandparents live, where it's normally 80s or the high, but when the heat waves hit, they don't have AC. Mm-hmm. And you're just miserable. That was me this summer, where my apartment doesn't have AC, and we had a heat wave, and it was just miserable.
Before my family moved to the Midwest until I was about 12 years old, 13, we lived in the LA area, and the only place in our house that had AC was the garage. Because it was my dad's office business setup. It was miserable.
That does not sound like a fun way to live.
It is a very sweaty way to live. But we made it.
I a few years ago, me and my partner went to Las Vegas. It was our first together holiday together, and I never want to go to Vegas again, ever. It was awful. He had black jeans when we went. He had light gray jeans when we came back because the sun just bleached everything. Also, I got so uncomfortable by the amount of homeless people sitting on the pavement in 50 degrees Celsius weather in the sun. It was awful. And everyone else, I can't understand people, how do you get so zoned out that you can walk past people and not react? Because I can't do that. I was so uncomfortable all the time, because you don't see a lot of homeless people here, even though there are homeless people here as well. But I've never seen homeless people in that amount. I was what the hell?
This is America. Mm-hmm. Can I take a moment to appreciate that we have a Luke here?
Yes.
Yeah. Void boy.
Scratching at the door, so I brought him in.
Has he been sneaking more tuna from your grandma?
He has not. He's been actually better behaved than his sister recently.
That's a surprise.
I know.
Well, they have to like take
Switch off.
turns.
Yeah. Hi, buddy.
What is everyone working on today?
I'm still working on the sweater. Hi. Although if Luke has anything to say about it, I will not be working on it. I will be cuddling him.
Cuddling is clearly the priority. We all know this to be true.
Yes.
Hi.
Rhea, you should show everyone what you're working on.
Yes, I am actually working on a set of pockets, like the Victorian pockets, but I'm embroidering them first. And I'm working on the little flowers. So the big flowers are gonna be blue and the focus. And the little ones are gonna be 2 different shades of red.
I
and
love
probably
it.
the centers are gonna be gold.
And whenever somebody asks you how you're feeling, you just whip out your pocket, like, read the pocket.
Yes. Yes. I had to start making them because I have this unfortunate habit of leaving my phone wherever, and then I will cry out somewhere like, "Darling, can you bring me my phone?" So now it's turned into this constant sort of meme almost that I keep doing it. So I need some pockets so that I can have my phone with me all times.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see how they turn out. I think they look really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually line the front, so the embroidery part, I'm gonna baste a thinner layer of fabric on this one, and then they're gonna like so that the threads from the other side don't end up like catching on anything.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Oh, what are you working on, Bree?
So I have 2 projects going on right now. One is the Hohi Locatelli Paris and Berlin cowl, which I'm working on in the other room, and it's using the Dublin Worldcon yarn. I finally decided what to use that Dublin Worldcon yarn for. And then this is my witching hour sweater, which has these spooky barbs.
Oh, that looks so cool.
I know. I feel like it looks better on camera than it looks in person. Like the contrast is much more stark, but I can't decide if that's like because it is actually more stark or because like my face has been like this in this sweater, and so I'm not looking at it objectively.
I think it's the latter.
It'll probably look really good from a distance as well.
Yeah. So I had started this in September and put it down because I needed yarn, and then put it down because of Christmas knitting and getting stuff done for that. And I am finally picking it back up, and I am almost done with the color work. I'm very close to done with the color work.
That looks so cool. I had to pause with my cat bed that I was making last time because I ran out of t-shirt material. So now I have to wait for another t-shirt to get busted.
Yeah.
But luckily the cats don't mind. They have their other beds.
Yeah, I had to put Soren away because he has 2 phases of when I'm knitting, and one is to like lay there quietly and sleep for hours on end, and the other is that, you know, yarn is only for cats. And he woke up from his nap of sleeping for hours on end as I knit to go straight into yarn is only for cats mode, and so he is temporarily banished until he feels like it's nap time again.
Oh, Soren.
Leia will go after yarn. Luke doesn't really, but he gets, you can't see him, he gets very aggressive about claiming my lap.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've had a little bit of a trouble with MOSFET because like today he almost dive bombed into my bath. He climbed into the bathroom sink to stare at me while I was in the bath. The bathroom sink is adjacent to the bathtub, and he was
Yep.
already doing the flying practice motions to like to jump. But then my partner moved in the other room and he scrambled away because whenever there's someone moving in the other room, he needs to flee.
Oh,
Because,
Well,
like,
is it because maybe it's food? Because Soren always leaves, but only because it's maybe food.
I don't know. He's like a bit of a scaredy cat, but he's like, it's weird because it's almost like he likes it, like he wants to be chased. Because then when you catch him, he starts purring so loudly. And also when you do the thing where you like raise him up from his like armpits, he starts doing this with his like front paws. He's so stupid, but like in a lovable way.
So he's basically the equivalent of a 14-year-old boy who wants to go to all of the haunted house like exhibits.
Yes.
Like, he wants
he is. He's a total teenager too. Like he's a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Like 1.5, about something like that. But yeah, he's like a complete goofball.
Rachel, what are you working on?
I am attempting to start a second sleeve, and I cannot count today.
Oh.
It's because the cold interferes with numbers.
Let's go
Sexy,
with that.
sexy numbers.
I completely on a whim decided to crochet a sweater.
Okay.
So I knit a boxy sweater, which is one of the Hohi Locatelli patterns. Last year, some people may remember me knitting that gigantic tube. And it was so big, it was like wearing a drafty tent. It was uncomfortable. So I decided to rip the entire thing out. I had a frogging party with my dad. We both had sweaters that we wanted to rip out, so we helped each other do that. So I reclaimed all the yarn from that. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. And then I saw this crochet sweater. It's by a Russian designer. And I'm not going to talk about the pattern because the pattern is terrible in English. But I have the body of it done. Ooh, you can actually see.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Oh, that's nice.
Look at the texture on that.
It is crocheted from side to side so that it actually stretches across the body, because like crochet vertically, whereas knitting stretches horizontally. So this is kind of really that like ribbing effect that you would get with knitting.
Oh, I love that.
Really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And it's all seamed, but it's pretty easy to seam.
Yeah.
So I've got the body done, and I don't have enough yarn to do the full sleeves, so I did one little short sleeve. And it's very small. And I'm having a devil of a time getting the second one started because I can't count today. I've started it like 3 times, and this is all I've got. Look at that. It's so sad.
I mean, it's something.
I believe in you. Like,
I mean,
your fiber artwork always puts mine to shame. So I'll just wait and see how it turns out eventually.
You can get color work.
Okay, so what's your problem with color work? Does it get buckly?
Every single thing that I have done color work on hasn't been the right size. My Panglossian sweater, which we did that cowl, it is too small. And I tried to wear it once, and it literally wouldn't fit over my shoulders anymore. So I have to rip the entire thing out. It's a mess.
Oh.
And then I made the Ladyfingers sweater before that, which it looks so cool. I was so happy with the colors, and I never got to wear it. So I pulled it out of storage the other day, and I put it on, and it was like 2 sizes too big.
Oh, boo.
And
Boo.
I messed the ribbing up on it. Like, I actually knit the ribbing on that twice. It's not even the color work portion. It's just the 1x1 rib, and it looks terrible. It's all like flared and stuff. So I'm probably going to rip all that out, but try to knit it again.
Yeah.
Go down like 2 sizes, and that will be my color work practice. And I knit that sweater for my dad for Christmas.
Yeah.
Which at least was wearable.
It was beautiful.
I love the way that it looks, and it is wearable, and he's actually been wearing it. So that's like sort of a success, but oh my god. I had to rip it back so many times because of the sizing, and I didn't get gauge on the color work portion. So that's my problem, is that I don't get gauge with color work. And I'm not really sure why. So
I don't know. Right now, all of the projects that I have in mind to start after I finish this and then the Paris and Berlin cowl are all super oversized so that I don't have to worry about sizing, because that just feels like a good idea. So
yeah. I figure I would practice stranded color work by doing like some hats and stuff, because if they turn out too big for me, then somebody else can wear them. Somebody with a bigger head.
Naughty girl.
Oh, Leia.
She's just like, I hate this so much. Why are you doing this to me, mother?
In reality, she loves it. She's just playing hard to get.
She loves me, but I think she also is looking forward to me not doing work from home, because every single time she like demands cuddles when I'm on a video call, I will pick her up and show her, and she's just like, how dare you?
I'm wondering how our cats will react to when people get back to like office work, because like, for example, Tesla has been sleeping in Wolf's office and been sort of like a supervisor for him, and he's gotten used to being shown around in daily meetings and stuff, and for us to be home at his beck and call all the time, when he so much as meows in an effort to get food, he will get some kibbles and stuff. So it will be a shock when work happens again.
Yeah, I think the cats are going to be like, it's going to be an adjustment for them, because like even here, like if my grandparents like leave for something other than mass, they get like really antsy.
I was working from home 3 days a week before the pandemic. And I'm a little worried about Soren, because he was already a mama's boy, and now like he's just had me constantly for almost a year. In fact, like a year in like a week, because we went into my office, sent everyone to work from home just before the quarantine, like the week before.
Yeah.
And I have a bad feeling he's going to be real bad about it. Wally, my other cat, she'll be fine. She doesn't care.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Hedda will be the only one who doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like y'all gonna leave me alone now.
Yeah.
I think both of the cats are gonna be extremely like, how could you leave us, mother? How could you do this to us?
What are folks reading right now?
Rhea, do you want to go first, since you haven't gone first yet? Or Rachel?
Okay. I'm reading, or rather listening to it on audio. I'm listening to The Dark Fantastic.
Okay.
How is it?
Which is nonfiction about race and like people of color and how they're represented in media, especially in fantasy. And so far it's been pretty interesting. The first chapter is basically the abstract and the introduction to what the author is just going to talk about, what she's like. It's very, how do I say? It's very academic. So it's like it reads like an academic text, which I don't mind actually. So, and it's an interesting topic. I'm hoping that after reading it, I will be a little more informed with how I read and approach fantasy.
Yeah.
And how different characters are depicted in fantasy. So, and I'm buddy reading it with Shannon. And the other thing,
I bet that's real good too. Just having her to talk about with it. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and also I just like nonfiction buddy reads are one of my favorites.
Yeah, I need to do more of that. I think I buddy read Ibram X. Kendi's book with Shannon last year. And I was like, that was one of like the best reading experiences of the entire year. Having somebody.
Yeah, I feel like I personally, when I can discuss things, I retain more information in general, and I think that's even more useful for like nonfiction work. And the other thing that I'm reading to kind of offset the denseness is Eva Evergreen's Semi-Magical Witch. By Julie Abe, which is basically about this young witch who doesn't exactly have the best of magical abilities. She falls asleep if she tries to do like magic, and it's kind of like Kiki's Delivery Service feels.
Okay.
And it's super fun. So I haven't gotten too far, but like I just started today. But it's like it's the perfect thing to read when you because I started Dark Fantastic, but I also I came off the back of reading Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. So it's just nice to have something that's like lighthearted and fluffy and just like pure like fun. So yeah.
I will say I have a super soft spot in my heart for like coming of age stories about girls who are witches but are not very good at being witches.
Yeah, same. There is a surprising number of those. For example, I love was it Worthless Witch or Worst Witch? That book series. I haven't read the books, but I loved the TV show when I was a kid.
I also loved the TV show, and I won't lie, I even enjoyed the remake that Netflix just did of it. I only watched the first season, but I was like, this is what I want.
I need to watch the remake.
It does not have Tim Curry, which the original has Tim Curry. So
the original had Tim Curry?
Yes.
Oh
Tim
my God,
Curry I feel like this every time I find out somebody like some story that I loved as a kid has Tim Curry because he was sneaky in the background of all the things I liked.
That is true. Also, he wasn't even sneaky. It's just that maybe our kid brains weren't attuned to the Tim Curryness of everything.
Probably.
For example, like when I was an adult and I found out that Tim Curry was in Fern Gully as the bad guy, I was like, that makes a surprising amount of sense.
I was going to use that as an example. Ooh, do you stab yourself?
Yes.
Be careful. Di, what are you reading?
So I just finished. So for Blackathon, I decided to do thrillers because I'm trying to read more non-SFF stuff this year. Mm-hmm. And so I just finished a book called They All Fall Down. And it was just not super great. Okay. I mean, part of it was, I think the writing style just didn't work for me. But I think the other part of it is the author was trying to like do a twist, like a version of And Then There Were None.
Sure.
And the way that she was adapting it and the way that like the changes that she made just didn't work for me.
Sure. I can see that.
Because like one of the things with And Then There Were None is the fact that like the antagonist is there the entire time and it's someone you don't expect, and also like and that wasn't. I would not recommend it. It was not super good. So I'm kind of in between. I have 2 books going right now that I need to finish. One is Lore by Alexandra Bracken.
Okay.
Which I am enjoying, but it is a little too nice towards Zeus and not really interrogating the fact that he was a piece of shit dad.
I mean,
like it's going into the fact that, you know, the gods were kind of like assholes, but it also like doesn't talk about how Zeus was abusive. Which, I mean, it might just be because have recently finished the Trials of Apollo, which like explicitly states that Zeus was a terrible abusive father. Yeah, so I'm reading that, and then I'm also listening to Lakewood, which is another thriller for Blackathon, and that I'm only about like an hour or so into it right now. So I don't have a whole lot to report back on that.
Okay.
I finished my first flower.
Ah! For a second, I thought you were going to tell us you got blood on your embroidery, and I was going to be like, it's okay. It's only embroidery if there's a little blood on it somewhere.
I mean, I am fully like embracing the blood sacrifice aspect of embroidery. So
right, like infuse this pocket with your intention.
Yes.
What were you gonna say, Brie?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm in the middle of Black Sun. That's my read for right now.
It's so good.
It is.
I'm about a third of the way through, and I'm like, oh man. But I don't know. I feel like I've just loved everything that Rebecca Roanhorse has done. Like,
I mean, after reading Black Sun, I immediately went and put it on my Hugo nominations ballot.
Oh, did you?
Like, no, now that I have read it, I can put it on the nomination because things. Also, I want to see it shortlisted.
Yeah,
I want it to win a World Fantasy Award. I say this because so I just recently read Last Call by Tim Powers, which I don't know, is Joe still here? I was reading it with him. We had thoughts, and while I was reading it, I realized, oh, this won a World Fantasy Award, and I've been kind of thinking about reading all of the World Fantasy Award winners for.
Oh no, another project.
I've been thinking about this for like 7 years, guys. And the thing that stops me is that every time I go look at the big long list of winners, because I think it's been going since like the 70s, 80s or something. I don't know.
It's pretty long.
I think there are like 51 some odd winners so far. So yeah, it's been a while. And every time I look at the reading list for that, it's like, this is supposed to be an award that kind of shows, you know, the big, influential, noteworthy fantasy works. And I do, like, when you're looking at like decades worth of data from these sorts of awards, you can see historical trends.
Yes.
And it's so white. It's so like medieval, and it's and like my impression is that a lot of it is white men writing horror fantasy, like things like Song of Kali by Dan Simmons. You know?
Like,
I mean,
gotcha.
This is the award that had Lovecraft's bust as the actual trophy. Until they got that changed.
I mean, no matter what your opinion on Lovecraft is, I wouldn't necessarily want to watch him on my desk all day.
And that's what Nettie Okorafor said when she won him.
Well, I don't know if it's I don't want to watch him on my desk all day. I don't know if I want him watching me at my desk all day. Either both ways, not cool.
Both ways sound.
It's only been in like the last 5 or 6 years that like people of color have won the award. I think Okorafor may have been the first. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that was for Who Fears Death.
Which is very good.
Afrofuturist sci-fi fantasy there. And like that was so incredibly different from any of the other things I've read that have won that award so far. And I've enjoyed a lot of things that have won that award, but
who won last year? Was that Case and Calendar?
Yes. Yeah, and like I completely missed that. And I was just like I was
Case
looking
and
at
Calendar one with what?
Queen of the Rising, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, the last couple of years have been really different. Like ever since the Chimes one, like that was the last year where it was like super weird, white, predictable, I think. I mean, guys, none of the books in the Broken Earth series won.
Which is absurd.
I mean, I know, I think of it as kind of science fiction, but other things that are kind of sci-fi fantasy have won. Like, how did that not? Any one of those books could have won. But
So how does that?
All these things while I was reading Black Sun, while I was finishing it, and I was thinking like, this is a perfect example of a well done fantasy novel that doesn't center white people and white people problems and white civilization. It's also American inspired fantasy, and I'm not exactly sure if it's truly secondary world or alternate history.
Should be secondary world.
Okay. I mean, I spent a lot of time wondering if the Maw was like the Grand Canyon or something.
Well, I'm sure, like, I think that in part of it, it is inspired by like the setup of the Grand Canyon. I don't know that for sure, but it reads similarly to me.
I was thinking about the geography mention. I was like, I could see this fitting into real world geography. Yeah. Like, is the Crescent Sea the Gulf of Mexico or something like that? But anyway, it's so different and refreshing, and I'm like, this is going to change trends in fantasy. It should
better
fantasy award.
I mean, I am just like, I was so happy reading that book.
Did I see that somebody in this finished Alatsue? Or was that in a different chat?
That might have been Rachel. She read it last
I've read it. And
I mean, I read it. I have read it. It's good. Like I loved it. It was my favorite book of last year.
Yeah, I
totally nominated it for the Lodestar. That's
same.
I own it, but it's back at my place.
Because that is one that I really enjoyed from this last year, and I had, I don't know, triggered in my brain because I was thinking about stuff.
I do plan on nominating Sarah Kuhn's Heroine Complex for Best Series, just because, like, one, I think that's definitely, like, those books work really well as a series, and two, they're just so delightful. They're just like a lot of fun, and I really enjoy the fact that it centers, Asian American superheroines, but also just like the relationships between all of them.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so So apparently Rebecca Rowan Horace did an amazing book event with Annalee Newitz last week, talking about the
I actually have Annalee Newitz's new book checked out right now, so I might give that a watch. It's the Four Lost Cities. It's about looking at 4 different abandoned cities and, like,
what is it called?
4 Lost Cities. It's her examining, and I apologize, I'm going to be butchering this name, Catalhoyuk in central Turkey, which is a Neolithic site, Pompeii, Angkor in Cambodia, and Cahokia. And so it's looking at the different of those 4 different cities and looking at like what might have caused them to be abandoned.
How did I miss that this was coming out?
I don't know, because I also
Wow.
missed it, and this sounds really
This is
interesting.
totally up my time team loving heart alley that got away from me.
I mean, I have missed that too, considering that I just thought of about the Annalie Nuit's book that was about the time travel thing, and I was like, huh? Well, when did they come up with a new book?
So let me see, because I'm trying to pull it up because I can see that it's available on. Oh, its release date is February 9th on Audible, so I can use my last credit on this. I think I may do that.
I gotta see if it's on Libro FM.
Yeah, Rachel, if it is, I would be fine. I would be interested in maybe buddy reading that with you.
Would you mind if I hopped in on that?
No problem. I might need to buy a copy with either my Libro FM or ebook, because right now I have it out from the library. But
yes, it's on Libro FM. Sweet. Oh, I meant to ask you, Rhea. Dark Fantastic. Do you like the audiobook production of that?
It's okay.
Okay,
It's like it's nothing mind blowing. It's just like like the narrator enunciates well, and it's like how here's the thing: how much of a like a production can a very dense academic text be?
I mean,
it's adequate.
No whiny voices and no weird accent.
No. The narrator has a very very nice speaking voice, kind of like a lower register.
Okay.
So it's very nice to listen to. Like I don't find myself wandering, like wandering off the text, which is something that happens to me sometimes if the narrator has a certain type of cadence.
Okay, I'll see if I can find a audiobook sample of that then, because it's been a real toss up for me whether I want to get that on audio or if I just want to buy a physical copy, because beautiful Paul Lewin artwork on the cover. I'm a sucker for that.
I mean, depends on whether I like the rest of the material. I might buy a physical copy because I might want to annotate and underline.
Yeah, and there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might. Right. Yeah, I would probably end up buying an ebook or physical copy just because I want the reference list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that okay, it was written 2 years ago or something, or published 2 years ago, and the author does mention Adichie as one of the people that she quotes, and I'm like, okay, this part of the book hasn't aged well, especially because in terms of Adichie's comments on certain things and certain authors lately. So it's but other than that, it's very positive in terms of its inclusion of for example, trans people.
That's good.
Cool. Okay. Well, that will be my March purchase. I got myself the Four Lost Cities audiobook, so heck yeah.
This is perfect because I had one last credit with my Audible, so that worked out beautifully. I didn't know what to do with it, so.
Cool. But yeah, I just generally enjoy nonfiction that tackles intertextuality and stuff. So this is right up my alley.
My nose is so cold right now. Sorry, that's a total non sequitur.
I'm wearing 3 layers of wool and I am still shivering a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I am wearing slippers and it's not helping. Honestly, today I was taking a bath and it's so horrible because like there's a window right above our bathtub behind you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so what happens is it has a little bit of a draft, so my bath water would just chill out so I had to do this thing where I let out a little of the bath water and then poured like completely steaming hot water in so that I could maintain the temperature.
Oof. I'm very ready for next week when our temperatures are back to normal.
Yeah.
Now,
same.
when you say that, the weather is gonna be like, "Ha! You thought."
I don't know. The 10-day forecast promises me above freezing temperatures in the next 10 days, and I'm trying to make sure that I at least pretend to believe them, because otherwise I will lose hope.
I mean, me and partner went to a robot pizza vending machine on Friday to get pizza because there's a pizza vending machine that's come to town. And
a robot pizza vending machine?
Yes, you go to the vending machine, you order the pizza from the menu, and then a robot heats it for you, and it comes out of a little slot, and then you have a pizza.
Huh.
That's a thing now. And to be honest, the pizza was actually very good. It was like a pan pizza, but like me and partner went just for the gadgetry of it all.
Yeah. That's funny. That doesn't surprise me either.
And also, it was like minus 17 degrees when we went, and there were people waiting in line at the pit. So in the end, I think we waited in line for like 30 minutes or something.
In the outside in the cold?
Yes.
No way.
And my partner, with his extremely offensive extroversion, managed to make a friend during that time in the line. He just started chatting up some guy, and they started talking about technology and computers. And I'm like, this is personally offensive to me. If someone came up to me and talked to me while I was waiting in line, I would throw a fit. Because I don't want anyone approaching me.
Extroverts, man.
Yeah, it's like, can't relate.
Very much like I can't relate.
But he was very happy. They exchanged phone numbers and everything, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also, like, it's very cute and also, like,
weird.
Yeah. I don't know. We haven't left the house in a long time. That's not true. My partner has left the house. I have not left the house in a long time.
I mean, the only times we have left the house has been for grocery runs. And other than that, we haven't seen anyone. And the whole pizza thing was like, it's a pizza vending machine. A vending machine. There aren't gonna be people there. Lo and behold, when we arrive, there's people there waiting in line for the robot pizza things. And I'm like, should have come in 4 a.m. when no one was here.
Everyone is starved for novelty right now.
Yeah.
Like, what can you go and do that you haven't done 10 million times in the last, 12 months?
Yeah.
I'm really excited for when it is warm enough to like go to the zoo and do other outside things. Because our zoos and our museums here do it where you reserve time. So like you have to reserve your block of like 30 minutes or an hour for them to let you in. So it's not ridiculously overcrowded and like you can reasonably distance and stuff.
Yeah.
And that sounds like what I want to do, is to just go and be in a place that I am not normally, but safely.
Yeah. The Monterey Bay Aquarium hasn't opened up yet, but I'm hoping while I'm still here, they open up for something like that because I would love to, see my buddies, the sea otters.
Yes.
I love those little water weasels.
I mean, my friend just linked me a compilation of thick seals, which is just seals blubbering around and doing stuff. And I was like, yes, I needed this.
We all need that kind of joy in our life.
Rachel, what are you reading? You haven't talked about.
Oh, yeah. I'm listening to She Has Her Mother's Laugh by... I completely just forgot the author's name. Somebody Zimmer? Anyway, it's a book about genetics and kind of the history of genetics research. And I thought it was going to be something kind of like new and whatever, but it's like the same history from The Gene by Siddhartha Mukherjee.
Okay.
Except okay, I'm a little bit frustrated with this book right now because I'm in the middle of the, everybody was super into eugenics up until, Hitler section. So it's all about horrible things being done to women, pretty much. And I'm feeling like the author is not being judgmental enough. It's really very much like, I'm going to only let the facts speak for themselves. And I'm like, okay, dude, you could, you could actually express an opinion about this and maybe drive home the fact that it's, really terrible to, sterilize people for no reason whatsoever. And maybe the fact that Germany had actual eugenics programs pre-Hitler that killed 200,000 people. Like, maybe we should emphasize that was really bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I just recently watched a documentary about eugenics programs in Finland, which was very harrowing.
Yeah. Anyway, it's probably a perfectly fine book. I'm just a little miffed with this particular section because, I've listened to it for like 4 hours and I'm like, okay, let's have a little bit here that just says this was very bad. Let's not repeat history. And I'm also reading The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson.
Oh, Jenny from Reading the End loves that.
I am very taken with it. I'd heard some kind of wishy-washy things about it when it first came out, but I'm really into it in like the world building and the character and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, Jenny has been really hyping it, like being like, have you heard the good word of Between Worlds?
Yeah. I'm only like a couple chapters in and I'm more like, okay, what does she have coming out next? Because like I need to read more of her stuff. And I
love that feeling.
I have Winter Keep, guys.
Oh,
I love that cover.
I need to read all 400, 500 pages of it in the next like 4 days because there's a really long holds list for it at the library, and if I don't read it now, I lose it for weeks.
Yeah, I keep delaying because I have the ebook on hold from in Overdrive, and I keep delaying when I want to check it out because I'm like, oh, I need to reread the series, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
I really debated it, but like the first 3 books, I read them all very far apart because there are a number of years in between each of the books, and I read them all basically as standalones with very little memory of any of the previous books, and they were all really good. So I was like, I'm just going to jump into Winterkeep, and I will go read a Wikipedia summary of Bitter Blue if I need to remember something. So
yeah, for me, I had read, because I think I had read them all once they had all come out. And so I read them as like a series. And then I also remember really loving, like out of all 3, just loving Bitter Blue the most because it like hit that spot of like what happens after.
Yeah.
And how do we move on, or how do we remember?
And I think that's kind of what I did miss from reading Bitter Blue, because I didn't remember enough of the previous events to really get that impact of it all. It started to slowly come back to me as I was reading it. Like, oh yeah, there's this underlayer that I really didn't get.
I mean, I just love like the reason why in a lot of fantasy series the sequels are my favorites is because I love all the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair part of it to enjoy. I don't know. I love that feeling though that you were talking about, Rachel, of like reading a book and being like, I need to find the other things this author has done so I can have more.
And then
Like
realizing they're a debut author and there's nothing else.
I mean, that part's a bummer, but just like the like, I want your brain in my life feeling feels always really good.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I'm crying that the sequel to Black Sun hasn't been announced yet.
Why hasn't it been?
Like
I don't know, and it pains me. And I mean, maybe it was
don't say any spoilers.
Like maybe it got bought, like the book got bought before, because like the whole thing was like Saga getting pulled, like shenanigans with that imprint, plus like Simon and Schuster's whole, will it get gobbled up by Penguin Random House? Who knows?
And she says in the afterword that she like completely rewrote it after the first draft didn't really make the cut. So who knows how much it changed with the massive rewrite.
I mean, I personally thought the book was great, so you know. So here's to hoping.
I did get approved to read A Desolation Called Peace on NetGalley.
Me too.
And I'm super excited.
I'm hoping that I will get my like most likely I will wait until March the 1st or February the 20 something, but like I definitely want to read it in March, and because I just know that my pre-order isn't coming in on the day, because it never does. Because what always happens is that everyone else gets their pre-order on the day or on the day of publication or the second day or whatever, and then I get it like 3 or 4 weeks later. So in that time, I should probably have completed the arc.
Yeah, I still haven't read A Memory Called Empire, so I'm not pre-ordering, because I'm trying to be better about not pre-ordering sequels to books I haven't read.
Which is fair and smart.
But also, why haven't you read them?
I have no excuse because I do own it. I think it was just I got it in like 2018, like right around when Carrie died.
Oh, yeah.
And then 2020 happened, and 2020 was me reading a lot of romances.
Which is valid.
And now it's currently in Oregon where I am not. So.
That is fair.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have like the pile of books that I brought with me down from Oregon. And then I also have like stuff that I've bought since I've been down here. But there's like a lot of books that people are like, oh, this is so great, I'm nominating this, or like, oh, I love this. And I'm like, well, I will read that once I'm back in the same state as that book.
Rhea, your like gasps of excitement every time you finish threading your needle is
because it's never like it's never a given. It's never a given that I manage to thread it.
I'm not being judgy. I'm saying that I enjoy it.
Like I'm just here like surprised every time I manage to thread it because it's a struggle bus.
So in addition to reading, has anyone been watching anything good?
Oh my god, I know I'm like 2 years late, but I watched Knives Out.
Oh my god.
Yes. Ask everybody in my life, have you seen this movie? You need to see this movie. And now, yes, I'm seriously considering knitting the sweater.
I've favorited the sweater pattern. So if you haven't seen Knives Out, first go watch it because it's fantastic. Especially if you love like Agatha Christie, like Hercule Poirot, like anything like that, you'll love it.
And
Circle mysteries.
The entire cast is just
Mwah,
perfect.
fantastic.
And the set is perfect. And the wardrobe and the knitwear.
The knitwear in it is amazing. In particular, when you watch it, watch for Chris Evans's knitwear in it because it is so good. My favorite thing about the week after Knives Out came out was watching all the ladies on Ravelry be like, are you making it? Are you making it? Are you going to figure it out? Who's going to figure it out? And finally, there's a free pattern up for the Chris Evans Knives Out fisherman sweater. And
I mean,
okay,
it's like
so the woman who reverse engineered it, and then she put the whole thing out as a free Google Doc, so you can find it on Ravelry and get it all for free. And after the presidential inauguration, when the Bernie mittens went just crazy, there was an article about the trend of basically reverse engineering these like really popular knitwear things in the media, and they interviewed the woman who reverse engineered the handsome Chris pullover, and she was like, she still hasn't even finished her version of it, but other people like have already knit the whole thing. And it's so fun.
So I don't know that I have anything in my stash for it right now, and since I'm still on my no buy, I can't. Like, I want to get like a fluffy wool, like cream colored yarn for it because I feel like it's already perfect the way it is. Why try to change it?
I have to change it because I can't wear white.
Yeah, I'm like, I already know, like, I want to do it in like a traditional, like Irish, like fisherman sweater, white wool, white cream wool, and like in a men's XXL, so it'll be like huge on me.
I mean, if you want to do it the very, very traditional way, you will get undyed wool.
That is true.
Well, I went down this huge rabbit hole of like looking at fiber mill companies that do the undyed wool and like, woolen spun, really good lightweight stuff that's fantastic for the heavily cabled sweaters. And oh, there's so much beautiful, beautiful yarn out there, and it's so expensive.
It is so expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to go the budget-friendly option and just like get Knit Picks Wool of the Andes or something.
I was thinking about Lion's brand does an all wool blend that is specifically like for fisherman sweaters that they sell at Joann's, but I can't decide if it's a little too toothy for my personal taste. Because I am a sucker and I will drive myself crazy itching my skin.
There is that. Yeah.
So I generally need something that's at the very least a little bit of a blend to keep me okay.
I was seeing some people who did it with like alpaca wool blends.
Ooh, that sounds real pretty.
And I have an I think it's actually the 100%. Is it alpaca or wool? It's the Barocco Ultra Alpaca line. And I made a like almost like hoodie style sweater out of it. And I was super impressed. Like it's not itchy. I mean, I'm not super sensitive, but it was quite soft and very warm.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about like an actual wool is that it generally gets softer the more you wear it.
Mm-hmm.
And they will also last forever, which I could for sure go for.
Yeah. So I'm not supposed to buy any sweater quantities of yarn until I have finished the like 3 different things that I'm working on right now. But
no one here judges you if you do.
I judge myself because I don't have enough space to store all the yarn at the moment. That's a little bit crazy. But I don't know what I'm getting for my birthday next week. So
You should just email your dad, be like, look at this. I'd love to make this. I need to start looking for sweater quantities.
I already had the whole conversation with him, and he's like, so you want a Webb's gift certificate for your birthday? And I'm like, no. What if I want to get it from Knitpicks?
So
I just find it hilarious that you can have those kinds of discussions with my dad, with your dad, because
hey, this green shawl, my dad knits for me for Christmas.
Wow,
Christmas gift.
So I had already watched Knives Out. I love Knives Out. We are up to date now with all of WandaVision, and then which I'm enjoying much more after episode, I think it's 4, when they kind of break with the conceit a little bit. And then we watched Willy's Wonderland, which is a new Nick Cage movie where he goes, like, he gets, like, his car breaks down, and so he gets stranded in this small town. And they're like, well, we'll fix your car, but you have to stay and clean this, like, essentially Chuck E. Cheese. And you have to clean it overnight, and the animatronics come alive and try to kill him.
So it's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's, basically, but with Nick Cage, and Nick Cage doesn't say a word the entire time. He makes Nick Cage noises, but he doesn't have any lines. It was quite enjoyable. We had a pretty good time watching it.
I'm just imagining Nick Cage going like a Pokemon, like Nick Cage, Nick Cage.
Have you seen the Nick Cage Pokemon? Somebody redid all of the Pokemon, but they took out all the Pokemon faces and instead put a paint picture, like an MS Paint picture of like the outline of Nick Cage's face on all of the Pokemon.
That doesn't sound nice. That sounds kind of nightmarish, to be honest.
I'm just gonna you can just Google Nick Cage Pokemon. I'll put the link to Googling Nick Cage Pokemon in the chat, and you guys can see it because it's pretty choice.
I can imagine.
We're pretty big Nick Cage fans in this house, of both good Nick Cage and we love bad Nick Cage.
But the question is there good Nick Cage?
Oh yeah.
National Treasure is top tier Nicolas Cage.
Really? National Treasure? The role Nicolas Cage took with like when he was trying to pay off the German castle he bought?
Yes, that is National Treasure is an excellent movie. I will defend its honor.
I am less a fan of National Treasure 2, but am a fan of National Treasure 1. And I would say if you like anything horror related or like supernatural, like you don't mind a little bit of kind of gore, Mandy and Color Out of Space, which are 2 movies he did, I think in 2019, and then one that came out at the very start of 2020, are both phenomenal, like plays on the genre with like awesome. Like they're well done.
I mean, personally, and this is debatable for many, my favorite Nicolas Cage movie is Face Off.
That is actually the Nicolas Cage movie I haven't seen, and I always get confused because I'm a big fan of the sci-fi channel's like Face Off competition show, which is where they do like the monster makeup. And so every time my partner's like Face Off, I'm like, yeah, that's a great show. And he's like, what? You've never, like, what are you talking about? Like,
Face Off the movie is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But I also feel like part of my love for that movie comes from the fact that I saw it when I was way too young. I was probably like 13 or 12 when I saw it, and it is not a PG movie.
Has anybody here watched Lupin?
The French one.
Like
Yeah.
2 episodes of it, and was mildly intrigued, but not enough to not cancel Netflix. So,
Which is a valid point. So Lupin is a show that's about essentially like a what if Sherlock Holmes was an art thief?
It's a play on Arsène Lupin.
Yeah.
Which is like a gentleman thief.
Yeah. And I think leads into Lupin the Third, if you are familiar with the anime.
Which is also a play on Arsène Lupin.
Yeah. So we enjoyed
all the
that.
same.
It's all the same. But we enjoyed that a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, we are in my house. We are all waiting with bated breath for Godzilla versus King Kong, which is the movie event of our year. My partner has the Criterion Collection Godzilla set up, which is like an art book where they integrate the cases of the discs in. It's like very extravagant. So Godzilla is a big deal at our house.
I do like the original, like, classics Godzilla.
Yeah.
From, like, those were one of my childhood favorites. And also Power Rangers versus Godzilla. Have you ever seen that?
I've actually not seen Power Rangers versus Godzilla, but I think I need to now.
It's like basically every Sentai superhero ever has fought Godzilla or like teamed up with Godzilla at some point in time.
What's everyone else watching?
Aside from WandaVision, I haven't really been watching a whole lot. Although I did, I was looking for something like kind of mindless to watch, and I ended up pretty much binging the Spycraft documentary series on Netflix. And it's basically nothing new if you were like me and love the Spy Museum in DC, but it's 8 episodes, and it's talking about different elements of spycraft. So they have an element on like hacking. They have a episode on poison, which basically boils down to don't piss off the Russian government or they will try and poison you.
Yes, as Navalny will know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They have an episode on like sexpionage.
Okay.
And so like I said, a lot of it was stuff that I already like vaguely knew or was aware of through like the Spy Museum. And I'm sorry if you can hear in the background, but my cats cannot abide a closed door, but they also won't come in when I open it. So they're just scratching.
They're having feelings. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like it's a pretty short watch. So like if you're remotely interested in it, I would pick it up. It doesn't get into like the super shady shit the US spies do. So just like it is very biased that way.
Yeah.
Like it'll mention drones, but it won't be like, yeah, so our drone warfare like kills so many civilians because like it's not exact. Anyway,
it's not like remember how we ruined vaccination efforts in Africa trying to and the Middle East?
They mentioned like trying to find bin Laden in the context of like using special forces, but they like don't mention like how we fucked up vaccination campaigns in Pakistan.
Also, remember that those pesky coups back in South America. Totally not US backed or anything.
What are you talking about?
But yeah, so I've mostly been playing the Marvel Avengers video game just because that like hits me. Like I want to smash things and I want to collect all the pretties instincts in me. Like it's not like I finished the campaign, so like there's not really a story, but it's at this point just like leveling up the different characters and like getting them good gear.
Gotcha.
Partially, I had started playing it because I'm like playing it again because I'm like, well, Mass Effect, the remaster might be coming out in March. And I don't want to like start a long video game that I'll drop. And now Mass Effect isn't coming out till May. But I'm also just like, smash all the things.
Mm-hmm. Have you played, it's called A Night in the Woods?
I I haven't.
I love that game.
I
yeah.
recently replayed Oxenfree, which I love. If you like, I would highly recommend that game if you're looking for something short that's like spooky but with feelings.
Yeah, because I think Oxenfree is what, a 4-hour game?
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 hours. It's like not super long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you kind of have to play Oxenfree multiple times to get the whole thing.
Yeah, but I would like, even the first time I played it, it was still really good.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I really liked that. And I had started Hades a few months ago and put it down, but I might try and pick that up.
Yes.
Again, but I think my problem is like, I haven't really been playing much on my Switch lately. I've been mostly playing on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where I am, aside from WandaVision.
Oh, WandaVision.
Well, I have been watching Jujutsu Kaisen still. Basically, I've become I'm reliving my obnoxious teenage years when I got all worked up over anime series. I'm reliving those days now with Jujutsu Kaisen, and my partner is starting to like probably consider divorce proceedings at this point, even though we are not married. But like yesterday, I watched the movie that Glenn Keane directed, Over the Moon,
Yeah.
and that was okay. Not like super best or anything, but it was nice to like see a story that doesn't
Question.
center.
No, go ahead and finish.
Yeah, it was nice to see a story that doesn't center your typical milquetoast protagonist.
Did anybody else watch Earwig and the Witch? Which is the new Ghibli Studios.
I haven't.
Ooh.
Okay. No, you say that. It's not Ghibli. It's not like, or not Ghibli. It's Ghibli, but it's not Miyazaki. It's Miyazaki's son. Who
Oh, no.
apparently like basically he's the Earthsea one, I think.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
He, from the sounds of it, he like they finally broke down and were like, fine, you can try a 3D animation.
No.
Ah.
I want to be like, the script could be so good and the soundtrack is pretty good.
No.
And if this were not a 3D animation that you guys clearly are not like equipped to do, please just
Yeah, I mean they did the Ronya the Robber's Daughter,
yeah.
the animated TV show. They did that, and
Because it's Earwig and the Witch is another Diana Wynne Jones, and like,
Wait, is it?
Yeah, I think it's a short story.
Oh, is it one of her picture books?
Let me look it up. I thought it was a short story.
If it's a short story, I never remember the titles of those.
But I was like, this is it's a letdown, which is disappointing because I really love both the studios and everything that Diana Wynne Jones has ever done.
But I'm also thinking that Studio Ghibli hasn't really had like a knockout since I want to say Ponyo, because like from on Poppy Hill was kind of well, The Wind Rises, questionable choice to center that protagonist.
Didn't Goro also do the Wizard of Earthsea adaptation that got
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, wait up. Hold up. This is an actual Diana Wynne Jones novel I haven't read.
Amazon has it for $10.
Oh my god! It was published in 2011. How did I not know about
it's an 8 to 12-year-old range.
I know, but I've read everything by her except her first novel, which isn't in print anymore, and her picture books.
Right. And the
This is
story is
amazing.
very, the story is like peak Diana Wynne Jones, and you can see all of the things that would make this the right kind of story for a Ghibli Studios to produce.
Mm.
And I'm like,
Okay, does bookshop.org have it? Because I need to buy this like stat. Incredible.
Side note, has anybody seen Mary and the Witch's Flower, which is not Ghibli, but
Yeah,
it's from
I did see that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I have seen
that
it.
one. I like that.
It
one.
is.
It has a bunch of old Studio Ghibli like
Yeah.
animators who
So-
went ahead and established their own studio.
Yeah, and that was like if it comes down to watching Earwig and the Witch or Mary and the Witch's Flower, watch Mary and the Witch's Flower. It is much more what you're probably looking for.
The American cover for that book is terrible.
I'm so excited. I feel like I got to give you a real treat today.
How did I not know that this exists?
I don't know, but I'm so excited that I got to be the one to tell you.
I better check to see if there's anything else because oh my god, what is this? File visitors? Are these
Suddenly Rachel's budget is going out the window.
I mean, they're less than $10. Are these like things that were never published in the US?
Or maybe things that didn't get a huge run in the US. I don't know.
How fascinating. Well, they all have matching covers, so I'm getting
Yoink! Yoink!
Wow. We're just going to call this a birthday gift to myself.
I still don't know what I'm gonna get for my birthday. I also have my birthday next week, so.
Oh, happy birthday. Di, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
I was saying we're still in pandemic times. This type of thing is totally justifiable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
it would be like finding out that there's a new tea Kingfisher, which I would be like, I don't care about my no-buy. I would just get it. Like,
I mean, we did get we put in an order because there's a store near us. Well, not near us. It's in another town, but a drivable distance away. And they have this thing that if you order 5 days in advance, they make sushi platters. So we ordered 2 sushi platters to eat on our like birthdays. It was like sushi. I can't wait.
Do you and Volt have like birthdays in the same like week span or something?
Yeah, we're 4 days apart.
Oh wow.
That's why it's easy to remember.
Yeah, that would be easy to remember.
This is a really esoteric question, but is there a reason why Orlando by Virginia Woolf is not in the paperback Penguin English Library editions?
I have no clue.
I have to say that this color combination,
ooh, I like.
I'm
it's
liking looking
it.
really good.
And then the third flower is going to be like, I don't know, should I put like this color? Like kind of orangey? Or I have this color.
I'd maybe do the pink and do, instead of doing, I know you're talking gold for the center, but on the blues, do the orange, like the bright pop of orange would look, I think, really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I also have this, which is like a really like
soft pink.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We've
I'm
lost
putting together like a big old order to Book Depository now. Like, just ignore me. I'm losing my mind over here.
I don't know.
No
it's kind of lovely to watch you like bookshop though.
Speaking of Book Depository, I need to order the new Becky Chambers from them because
Same.
I needed to match because they have the UK versions in Canada, which is where I had bought my copies, and also the UK versions are prettier.
The UK versions are so much nicer.
Do you think they already have the paperback?
The UK version, yeah. That I checked on Book Depository like a month ago, and you could order the paperback.
Okay, that's good because I have all the others in paperback, so I was kind of thinking that do I have to wait until they release the paperback? But it's good that if they have it already, because maybe that's something that I could get myself for my birthday.
Are there any new good releases that I've not been paying attention to? For this month at least? Like,
well, there's the new Elliot Day.
The dog.
The Fireheart Tiger.
Yeah.
The new Steel Cult comes out in 2 days. The finale to the Witchmark books.
Mm-hmm.
And the Desolation Called Peace is coming out 2nd of March.
So excited.
Other than that.
There's also in March 9th is Act Your Age, Evie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I have it on hold at the library. I hope I'm at the top of the wait list.
There's also the new Sarah Beth Durst, which sounds really interesting. It's called The Bone Maker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like what happens after a fantasy quest and like someone trying to bring back her dead husband.
Oh. That sounds like that may hurt my heart.
I think I have basically either pre-ordered or purchase requested all my anticipated releases for the library.
Mm-hmm. I pulled up
because I've
release lists. Sorry, go ahead, Di.
I was about to say I need to look up what I've recommended for the library to see.
I pulled up some
No!
release books, and one of these is called Winter Orbit, and it's selling itself as Ancillary Justice meets Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I can't decide if that is like
looking into that. I'm like, I really want to try reading that.
I'm like Ancillary Justice, yay.
I know Gin Jenny read it lately, and I don't know if she has a review up at Reading the End yet, or if it's going to be a podcast episode.
I saw somebody's comments when they were reading it on Goodreads. Like, I don't know if they were reading an arc or something, and that's where I learned about it. I was like, that sounds like might be a lot of fun. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
feel like it would either be something that's like really good and I would really enjoy it, or it would just be like a hot mess.
I mean, I loved Ancillary Justice, but I hated Red, White, and Royal Blue so much that I DNF'd it after the 3rd chapter.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, apparently
I did not like it at all.
Apparently, Winter's Orbit was from AO3 and got picked up.
I hope that means that it reads like really, really good fan fiction, which is exactly what I'm in the mood for.
I mean, yes, I feel like we're all in the mood for really good fanfic feels, right?
Yes.
Like,
I mean, I'm just in the mood for feels.
There's a nonfiction book coming out that I have asked the library to buy. It's called The Sum of Us, What Racism Costs Everyone and How We Can Process Together, by this author, Heather McGee. She was on a recent episode of Love It or Leave It talking about how racism screws everyone over in regards to the economy.
Okay.
Well, it does.
The way she was talking about her book made me really interested. So I think this is coming out in a couple of weeks. Or actually, it's coming out tomorrow. For some reason, I thought it was coming out next week.
I think Isabel Yap has her first short story collection coming out this month. I think it's from Small Beer Press, so I pre-ordered that. Waiting for my shipping notice.
And then the new Shauna Maguire is coming out soon.
Yeah.
Which of course I have pre-ordered.
Wait, which one?
It's Calculated Risks, I want to say. It's the new encrypted book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Although the cover for the new Toby book came out, and I'm very excited because it looks like Toby and Tybalt are finally getting married and all the mayhem that's going to ensue.
That's funny.
mean, I am sorry, go on.
No, you go. You go.
I mean, I am very excited to finally start watching Mandalorian season 2. I've been talking about it for like 2 months that I need to start watching it, and now I finally can.
Have you started The Expanse season 5?
I mean, at this point, if we don't start it together soon, I'm hoping that we may start watching it on the birthday sushi evening time, because
That sounds nice.
because that just sounds like a nice time. But if we don't start watching it soon, I'm just gonna watch it by myself, because I can't hold on against spoilers this long.
Everything I want to talk about for that season happens in like the last 2 episodes, so I'm just gonna stay mum on that. But yeah.
Also, Rachel, should we quickly discuss the fact that we actually watched 2 decent Farscape episodes?
Yeah, so we watched 2 more since the last
Yes.
time?
Yes.
And they weren't trash. We were so shocked.
Yeah, at this point we don't even actually expect quality.
We were like, really good character interactions? Nobody's being a dick to each other. They're actually referring to actual real continuity and the repercussions of past events. What is this? I have higher hopes for the rest of season 2 now.
Also, we discovered that the writer who wrote the better one of those episodes is actually a showrunner on Expanse.
Yes.
Oh, that's neat. I'm rewatching Voyager, which I love Voyager, and okay, my Star Trek hot take, and I know it's a hot take, is that 1, Voyager is one of the best series, and 2, Janeway is a top tier captain.
Yes.
Yes, and yes.
Anyone who says otherwise.
I mean,
so Voyager and DS9 were my tracks, and so they're like my favorites. And Janeway Chakotay was like one of Baby Diana's first ships, which explains like so much about my subsequent shipping preference. I'm just like lady in charge, and her it's basically King and Lionheart, and like
yeah.
I mean, I will also say that the fandom as a whole, also in regards to another fandom who has the same issue that's lately been in the hot seat, but the Star Trek fandom has a very short memory when it comes to Janeway, and also was it Cisco in Deep Space Nine, when they're like, oh, those are the best captains, and I'm like, do you remember when that series was airing and you pissants were like completely rattled by the inclusion of these characters, and now you say they're good?
Voyager, it does have, in my opinion, one of the worst episodes in Threshold.
Does it,
with the salamanders? Okay.
Does it?
We just finished watching that because it's the one that so my partner has never seen any Star Trek, and I was like, you have to watch this. But just so you know, there is an episode where they break the warp barrier and they turn into salamanders, and then they have salamander babies, and then we never talk about it again.
I mean, I don't even think that is the worst episode in Trek canon.
I mean,
because
I know
remember that the first season of The Next Generation exists in its entirety.
I know. I'm struggling to get my way through that, but like it just Threshold like holds a special place in my heart for like how awful and
it is. I appreciate that we have this similar spot in our heart for this episode.
I also love that like Voyager fandom in general just like celebrates Threshold Day.
Yes. I don't know, but every episode, like I feel like every new episode I watch, like Janeway does something that's like, see, this is why I like her. Like when Kes is like, I think the doctor's a person, and she's like, I don't know about that. She's like, but we'll ask him if he would like these rights. Like, so like you don't believe that this person maybe is a real person, but you're willing to entertain the idea because someone feels so deeply that it is true, that despite the fact that you have this like inherent bias against it, your crew's empathy comes first.
Yeah.
And like,
well, and so one of the things that kind of frustrates me with criticism of Janeway, it's like, oh, she throws the Prime Directive out the window. She's like very, like, she can be ruthless. And it's like, she's like very far away from like the Starfleet and the Federation. And like her primary job is to get everyone home.
Well, and I think
also ruthlessness when we've had Kirk and Picard.
Yeah, right.
Like,
but it's also one of those things of like, there's a critique in Voyager of the Prime Directive, which is that there are circumstances where the Prime Directive will always fall short of what people actually need. And by it being like, she throws away the Prime Directive, you're missing the fucking point.
Do you know who else throws away the Prime Directive?
Everyone.
Kirk. Yeah, but Kirk, when he in the most fan-favored movie where he goes to rescue Spock, there was no critique of Prime Directive in there. Jesus.
I will say the only like original series movie I've seen recently is the one with the whales, because that movie is perfect in every single way.
That was the first
movies with that one.
that was my first exposure to Star Trek. Was that movie. I didn't understand anything, but it had whales. Also, for context, I loved Free Willy as a kid.
So I will say I was that pedantic. Oh God, I think I was like 4 or 5 year old, because part of the one with the whales films at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. But it's like, so one, they call it the Cetacean Institute. I'm like, but that's the aquarium. And 2, it's on the other, they like have it on the wrong side of the San Francisco. It's like super minor stuff, but it annoyed me so much when I was little.
My partner refuses to watch Fargo with me because I will be that person who's like, you wouldn't take this highway to go from Brainerd to the Twin Cities because it's not efficient. You do X, Y, and Z. This bridge is nowhere near this route they're supposed to be on. Because I'm from far up north, and so I've traveled those roads many a time. So I feel your feelings there.
But yeah, the one with the whales is perfect. I will say, out of the reboot movies, I do very much enjoy Star Trek Beyond. I felt like that was the closest that those movies got to like the feeling of the original series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to say that for once, I am very happy to be in a small little itty bitty minority country, because I never have those issues where I'm going like, no, that couldn't happen because that freeway doesn't go there.
Oh God!
Because there's no movies set in my town ever, even in Finnish movies.
When I was living in the DC area, to like let go of that for every show that is like set in DC, because they're almost always filmed in California, and they also will have like random things where it's just like, you can. So Criminal Minds was particularly egregious with this, because they would have, it's like mostly set in Quantico, which is like a couple hours outside of DC in Virginia. Yeah. And like, I am sure there are people who do the commute, but like, you wouldn't live in DC and commute to Quantico, because rent in DC is so friggin' expensive. And two, that's just like so like I could understand like
Inefficient, yeah.
in like Northern Virginia and commuting, but these were like, oh no, I live in the district and I commute to Quantico. And it's like, why would you do that to yourself?
Why did I think that Quantico was in New Mexico?
Yeah, no, Quantico's in Virginia.
I'm trying to think of what would be in New Mexico that you would be.
Roswell,
Yeah.
Roswell.
Albuquerque.
Where's Area 51?
That's outside of Roswell.
Roswell.
Isn't that,
Okay.
I just remember Roswell to the TV show,
The
Yes.
which
because
honestly,
Yeah, the first one.
the second one is kind of garbage.
I'm going to fight this battle. Roswell aged better than Buffy.
Well,
agree with that.
Mm.
Roswell also
Also-
doesn't have the baggage of Joss Whedon.
Yes, that too.
Which just, I feel like every year they just put in a new anvil into that box.
I feel God, someone was like, there was a tweet going around and it was like, damn, I wish cancel culture was real. Then I won't have to hear what a shit person Joss Whedon is every year.
But that's the thing, like when like Charisma Carpenter came out with their statement, I was like, wait, didn't we know this already?
So I feel like it was.
I know that when I watched Angel for the first time. Like I already knew about that.
I feel like it was.
I knew about that.
I think it was something that people talked about and had talked around, but I don't think it was something that she had like officially ever made a statement about it. It was something. It was like it was just kind of like
fan speculation.
It was a known. It was a known thing.
Yeah,
like,
it was
talked
a known missing stair.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Just woof.
Yeah, I am not surprised about the fact that like Allison Hannigan and Alexis Denisof have not said anything. Because they like, and also like Amy Acker, because they like remained close in Joss Whedon's orbit.
Yeah. Well, and yeah. Amy Acker does for sure.
Yeah.
And Alexis
And
Denisof.
Dave Boreanaz has been a known piece of shit for a long time.
Has
Oh,
anyone
yeah. Well,
Firefly said anything?
No.
no.
Again, and yeah, I
think the lead
one of the
from Firefly at least is still closely real like
Yeah.
Fillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, Nathan Fillion is also a known piece of shit.
Which makes me sad because I freaking love Firefly and I watched so many years of Castle before it just imploded
I mean,
or whatever.
Rachel, just
yeah.
watch Cowboy Bebop. It's better than Firefly, has the same theme and doesn't ignore Asians.
Yeah. Rachel, have you not seen Cowboy Bebop? Because you actually, I think, would really like it.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop is like great.
I'll see if I can get it from the library.
Please watch Cowboy Bebop.
I think it's actually on Netflix because Netflix
Yeah.
is
I don't have
doing a
Netflix
She got rid of Netflix.
on show.
It is, I will say, I think it is worth a watch, and I think you in particular would like it. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not surprised that all this stuff about Whedon is just consistently like getting worse.
The stuff with Michelle Trachtenberg was just heartbreaking and disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my god. When I read what she stated about it, I was like,
Oh,
Okay,
can
this
someone
is-
link me
oof.
It also
her
makes-
statement because I didn't see that.
It's basically that Joss Whedon was not allowed to be alone in a room with her.
Yeah, like they had a rule.
Ew!
Well, and she was so young.
She was
Like,
15 when she started. She was a
I know.
baby.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder too, because like Buffy, season 7 with Buffy ended when Sarah Michelle Gellar basically said, I'm not doing it anymore. And part of me wonders if part of it was like she just didn't see any other way to, because she and Michelle Trachtenberg are like super, super close.
Mhm.
Well, and like I know that like Sarah Michelle Gellar's her statement was very reserved, but to me read like I can't say more without going too deep, or like it was very, to me it was telling in its own way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also
She
think
has
that Sarah Michelle
even
Gellar.
in the last like 5 or 6 years, I feel like, where she's like started to tie herself more with Buffy, because for a long time she just did not have a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the time that I was watching Buffy, which is Buffy and Angel and everything, they were all off the air. So it was many years later.
Yeah.
And there was, for a while, that like I was a teenager and I was thinking, is she even like in the business anymore? She was just silent on everywhere.
Well, let's just say it sounds like after working with him, I don't know that I would be very encouraged to work with other people, especially if I just wasn't huge.
The good news is that my library has Cowboy Bebop, the complete series.
Yes.
The bad news is it's missing.
Oh no.
I will say I do. Amy Acker and Alexis Denisov in the Whedon version of Much Ado About Nothing is perhaps my favorite version of Much Ado About Nothing, which is
Oh my god, yes.
it is so good. Like the entire cast in that is phenomenal.
Have you
rewatched
seen
it so many times?
the web video adaptation, Nothing Much to Do?
No.
Because that is, I think, my favorite adaptation. It is similar to the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, where it's like a modern vlogging update, but it's much better than the Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
Okay.
I hate the Lydia arc so fucking much.
Yeah.
I will die angry about how more regressive LBD's version of the Lydia arc was. It was awful.
Yeah,
but anyway,
really
Not Much to Do is the way that it's set. It's at a high school in New Zealand. And yeah, the update works very, very well. And it is delightful, and I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Sorry about my exclamation. I've just been trying to thread this needle for like 10 minutes, so.
Like I said, I enjoy everything about you having these like happy moments of threading your needle. I'm finding them really pleasurable. So just know that that's a thing that I'm enjoying.
Okay.
I have a hard time with Roswell because I want to love it so bad. And sometimes I'm just like, I watch it, I'm like, oh,
the new
late
one,
90s, early aughts cringe. I see you.
That's the one with Katherine Heigl.
Yeah.
Yes.
A very young Katherine Heigl.
I did not like her very much in that.
She's not the best character.
People like her anywhere.
I'm sure.
I mean, she was super, super popular there for a while, so somebody liked her. I just didn't super love her character. And
yeah, her character in that was not, I think they didn't do enough with it to develop her as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, her character flip-flopped a lot. I like the God. I don't even remember his name. The rebel guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The Spike character of the series.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I mean, man, until this week, I didn't even know what Joss Whedon looked like because I don't pay attention. Like I knew about like stuff, but I don't really pay attention to what directors or showrunners look like. But now that I've seen his face, he does look like an abuser.
A little bit.
Like your run of the mill balding middle-aged guy with an inferiority complex that he has to take out on others.
Yeah.
So we are just hitting or just about to hit the 2-hour mark. Did we want to start wrapping up?
Sure.
Cool.
I'm almost done with my 3rd flower. 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 3rd flower.
Well, give us a shot of that before we wrap up.
Yes.
I am so impressed. I don't know anything about embroidery, but that seems to be like super fast.
It's because I'm doing satin stitches, so they are fast. When I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing all the flowers first because those are the fastest ones. Then the leaves and the front stuff are gonna be like French like bullion stitches. So those are gonna be
I don't know what that
a
means, but it
crapshoot.
sounds really fancy.
They're like little knots.
Yeah.
Okay, super fancy.
So who's got what coming up? I have basically nothing coming up. The last 2 months I have been really struggling with fatigue, and I'm finally getting through to the other side of like feeling better. So hopefully there will be something coming up, but I don't know what it is yet.
I have. Oh, go ahead.
Go on, Di. Go on, Di.
Okay. My January wrap up should be coming out this week, and I'm gonna try and record something like a review on the Star Wars High Republic now that I've read the YA book.
Okay.
I should have some content coming, like I'm doing a vlog. You should have some footage of the robot pizza vending machine in that one.
Nice.
So that's gonna happen, and also hopefully in the next 2 days or so, depends on how I manage to get it filmed, I should have an announcement video for the next round of Translate-a-thon, which is gonna happen in March.
Nice.
Yay! I should get a hold of that manga series that you recommended me for that, the Spy Family.
Yeah, Spy X Family.
See, if I request interlibrary loan now, it might arrive in time.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's so stupid. It's like basically like kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I love that movie.
But if Mr. and Mrs. Smith had a telepathic child, and no one knew anything about anything, and it's great.
Yeah. I have no immediate plans at all, so I'll watch this space.
Yep. Sounds good. Well, I guess we can leave it there. Whose channel are we on next month?
It'll be me.
Okay, it'll be on Rachel's channel next month. So keep an eye out there and on Twitter, which you will always find our updates there. Thank you everyone for joining us.
This is a fun day. This is the most socialization I've had in weeks.
I know. There we go.
The flower.
Oh, beautiful.
Love it.
Okay. Well, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.